Hey there and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into the world of an animal that has totally become the internet's mascot for taking it easy, the sloth. You probably picture this slow, sleepy creature, pretty much the definition of lazy. But is that really the whole story? I think we're about to find out.
I mean, it's the question we all have, right? Their name itself is literally one of the 7 deadly sins. They spend almost their entire lives just hanging out, upside down, barely moving an inch. So, are they actually the laziest animal on the planet?
Well, what if I told you that everything we see as laziness is actually one of nature's most genius survival hacks? That what we call slow is actually incredibly strategic. And what looks like just doing nothing, that's the sign of a true, battle-tested survivor.
Look, there's no denying their reputation. For centuries, people have looked at sloths and just seen a sluggish, lethargic animal. But to really get what makes an animal tick, we can't just look at what they do. We've got to dig in and ask the most important question: why?
Yeah. What if this exact trait that we kind of make fun of is the real secret to their success? Let's actually look at the evidence. And we're going to start with the most basic thing for any living creature. It's food.
To understand why sloths move the way they do, you've got to look at what they're putting in the tank. You know that old saying, you are what you eat? Well, for the sloth, their entire way of life, their whole existence, is shaped by their all-leaf diet. So what's the big deal with leaves? I mean, they're everywhere in a sloth's world, right? Well, it turns out they are a terrible source of energy. They've got almost no calories, they're super hard to break down, and some can even be toxic. In fact, get this, it can take a sloth's specialized stomach up to a full month to digest a single meal of leaves.
Okay, so just how little energy are we talking here? On a typical day, a sloth might only burn around 160 calories. To put that into perspective for you, that is about the same amount of energy you'd get from one small bag of potato chips. That's their entire energy budget for a full 24 hours. Wild.
Think of it like this. Expecting a sloth to move fast is like asking a person to go run a marathon after eating just one single piece of lettuce. It's not going to happen. It's not biologically possible. Their energy budget is that tight.
So it's not just about the low-quality fuel they're taking in, it's also about how their entire internal engine is designed to run. And that brings us to their amazing metabolic secret.
Okay, so your metabolic rate, it's really just how fast your body is burning energy just to stay alive, for things like breathing, keeping your heart beating. A good way to think about it is how fast your car's engine is running when it's just sitting in idle.
Now, when you put a sloth's metabolic rate up against another mammal of a similar size, say a howler monkey, well, the difference is absolutely staggering. The sloth's internal engine is just barely ticking over. Meanwhile, the monkey's engine is running at a much, much higher speed. Totally normal for its size.
And we're not talking about a small difference here. This is an extreme evolutionary adaptation. Sloths literally have the lowest metabolic rate of any mammal that doesn't hibernate. It's like they've turned their internal thermostat all the way down to save every single last drop of energy.
Okay, so we know why they're slow, right? It's this combo of a super low-calorie diet and a metabolism that's basically at rock bottom. But how in the world does being this slow actually help them stay alive in a jungle crawling with predators?
Usually in the survival game, you've either got to be fast enough to run away or strong enough to put up a fight. The sloth is neither of those things. So, what's their secret weapon?
Their survival strategy is nothing short of a masterclass in stealth. It's this perfect chain reaction. The diet forces them to save energy, which means they have to move incredibly slowly. That slow movement then allows algae to actually grow on their fur, giving them this greenish tint that is perfect camouflage. And the result? They basically just disappear into the canopy.
And here's the payoff. Major predators in their ecosystem, like the incredibly sharp-eyed harpy eagle, they hunt by spotting movement from high up in the sky. A sloth, moving at a snail's pace, all blended into the green leaves, just doesn't even register as food. Their best defense is to never even be seen in the first place.
So, now that we've looked at their diet, their metabolism, and their incredible survival strategy, it is definitely time to completely reframe how we think about the sloth.
The myth has always been that laziness is some kind of character flaw, a weakness. But the reality? For the sloth, slowness is a highly specialized, finely tuned tool for survival. They aren't doing nothing, they are doing precisely what is needed to thrive, and not one single calorie more. It is the absolute peak of efficiency.
This quote just nails it. In the economy of nature, the efficient survive. The sloth is a master of energy economics. They haven't been around for millions of years because they're lazy. They've survived because they have perfected the art of spending almost nothing to get everything they need.
And that kind of leaves us with one last big thought. The sloth is this powerful reminder that our human values, things like speed and being busy all the time, they aren't the universal rules for success. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What else out there are we totally misjudging just because we're looking at it through our own, very human lens?